Welcome to A Great Depression, a podcast for every mall rat, Jansport, backpack emo kid struggling with the boredoms of everyday adult life. We've already had an hour conversation about a bunch of shit, wrestling, all sorts of fun stuff that you're going to hear next week. But the original purpose of this podcast was Brian was going to come in and we're going to talk about Donda, we're going to talk about Certified Lover Boy, and we're going to dive into all of that shit. So we're recording this after we already recorded the other thing, so just fucking deal with time travel. Sorry. So Bryn Scagline is in the studio. Hit the music. We are broadcasting today from the Union Fitness Studios. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out based around a variety of classes like yoga, fitness, strength, performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today. Sign up for a consultation through Union. There is strength. Donda.
Donda.
It's that was a lot. That whole track is 52 seconds of someone saying Donda.
Yeah, that was just with that track in general. Like with the first listening party Kanye did, that wasn't the first song that he played. I think the first song was like Jesus. The song with Travis Scott was like the first song that he played. The first listening party. I might be wrong or right. I can't remember. But
that's the part I hate about this fucking. He doesn't put any of the features on it. So then I got to pull up a separate fucking YouTube page.
That's not new. Travis Scott also did that. Just
I know.
From
Yeah.
Astroworld.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because they want you to listen to it front to back. And they don't want you to be like, oh, Drake's on this song, nice. Like, oh shit, Travis Scott's on this song. Like, they don't want you jumping around. I would much rather prefer to have the option. But I think when, like, Kanye approaches you or, like, you get on a Kanye track, it's like, I'm just going to do whatever this man says all the way to the point to wear a pantyhose mask.
Right.
Like, I'll do whatever. But, like, no. I love the insanity of Kanye West. I'm very, like, 50-50 with it. Like, to me, when it comes to music and, like, an artist, like, I enjoy the spectacle. Like, I enjoy when you put on a show for me. Like, I don't want to see some, like, famous artist come out and be like, yeah, what's going on? Thanks for enjoying my music. Like, no, fuck that shit. You are, like, a millionaire, billionaire. Like, have swag. Like, have, like,
right.
like a swagger to your step. Like, be the thing. Like, if I was a rapper, I would have face tattoos and gold teeth. I swear to God, because I have to wake up and I have to go to work just like everybody else does. If I had the capability and outlet to have like people around me and like to be like Lil Pump and run around like Roger Rabbit, like in real life, and have like all these like, I'm being silly, but like I for sure would lean into those things. Like it's what we talked about earlier. I like when you lean all the way into it. Like go in fully into the character.
Yeah,
I love it.
I wind this whole thing back because I did have like a list of things that I wanted to do. You missed the quick reaction thing that we did because time travel sucks. But essentially where I want to start is, what was the first Kanye song you heard? So Brian is a Kanye super fan. That's why he's here.
Yeah. Maybe
I'll edit in that intro I gave in the last one. Anyway, you're here because I trust your opinion, one, musically. We align pretty heavily musically in a lot of ways.
I'd say so.
So it's a bit of a safe space. There's not going to be a lot of like push and shove. We both agree on Donda and Certified Lover Boy. We're very aligned with that.
Yeah.
But you, I believe, are a diehard Kanye fan. And I have always watched Kanye and thought there's more going on there than what we think. Everyone thinks that what we're seeing is the truth, and I think it's closer to reality TV.
Yeah, I would say he's a very calculated person. Like you don't get to his level of fame, or even like Drake's or anybody's, like by being just like, oh, oops, I guess they like it. Like every single accident that looks like every single thing that looks like an accident is like strategically planned on purpose, and it's like I don't think that anything he does or releases like. He's so just like over the top, like crazy about his image, music, brand, fashion line, life, like that. Nothing is going to just like slip out if you're at like his level of security and fame, and there are no accidents, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the breakdown on stage.
Yeah,
where he confesses that he's broke, and all that shit, and then the Yeezuses drop. What, 3 months later?
Yeah, it's I think like the life of Pablo when he was like having the breakdown and going crazy. That was like him just peaking, like dealing with it because like there's an interview he did where he was saying like he's like I'm juggling a lot of things right now. Like I'm this person, I'm working on fashion. No one wants me to do this, and now he has like years later one of like the most highest selling, like most coveted type of sneaker there is. And still like years and years later, they're still hard to get. They're still expensive. They're I guess like not as difficult as they once were, but like he's doing this all on purpose. Like he created this scarce like, oh shit, I better get this. And then now it's like a little more accessible, but still it's nothing he's doing is like just by accident. It's like it's all part of the creative like genius of him. Like it's that's the thing. I have like I back to the spectacle thing. Like I love if you're an entertainer, entertain me. If I'm paying this much money, I'm sorry, do the fucking job. Like, just do it. Like, I like when artists are strung out on drugs, taking painkillers, because that's when I think the most creative work comes out. Like, that's when I think they're most vulnerable and more like when you play by the rules and stuff, then you might as well just watch like fucking like TV or like some type of like just any type of like
Grey's
late
Anatomy.
show. Yeah, like it's structured. This is what I figured, and I can live my life now. There's nothing to really think about it. And that's where I even think the Certified Lover Boy thing, like, and again, like, I don't want to compare them because I think they're two different albums and, like, they're two different artists. But, like, with Drake's album, like, no shit it was going to be good. Like, no shit. It's fucking, I love Drake. Like, I love Drake, not as much as I like Kanye West, but, like, it's because, like, I like the spectacle. I don't like the mysterious, like, I don't know. Yeah. Wrapping it back up, nothing is on accident. All of it is strategically planned, I would say.
So go into this conversation knowing that we both appreciate Kanye as an artist from a 180 like worldview perspective, not just individual songs or individual albums or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when is the first time young Brian hears Kanye and goes, I like that?
My friend Dean Margliotti and I were sitting in his mother's car as she ran into Joanne Fabrics on Route 51. We were sitting in her car, and he said, I got the new Kanye West album. Do you want to hear it? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, he put it on or something. But he put it on after his mom got out of the car because she didn't like the music, and she wasn't really too thrilled that he had the album anyways, but, like, it was whatever. And then he plays, I guess it was Late Registration or whatever album with, like, Jesus Walks.
Okay,
Jesus Walks was like one of the very first Kanye songs that I heard,
Let
and
me
like
make sure we nail
please
all
fact
this.
check me.
Yes. So, Jesus Walks is on.
I think it's Late Registration. Please
I think you're wrong.
No,
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It is on College Dropout. Okay. But that's good because that just shows that you were there from the start.
Yeah. So I guess I never really actually thought about this like when I became a fan because like truthfully, this era of like College Dropout, Late Registration, that's probably my least favorite Kanye stuff.
See, that's funny.
Yeah, like all like the College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, all even Watch the Throne, to be honest.
Not for you.
I enjoy it, but it's not the first. The first thing I'm putting on every time is Yeezus. Every time.
Wow. Okay, so you are literally like Yeezus Pablo Donda.
Yes, 1,000%. Like 808 and Heartbreak. My favorite Kanye albums of all time are Yeezus, 808 and Heartbreak, and The Life of Pablo. And like Donda, I would say with a few more listens, will probably knock. As much as it almost like hurts to say, like The Life of Pablo when I first heard it was like a masterpiece. I thought it was like so fucking good.
Yes.
But as I listened to it more, I don't know if it's one of those things where like you just watch The Office so much that you just become like numb to it. You're like, I remember that. I remember all this shit. Like, but like I think that with a few more listens, like Donda will probably knock Pablo off of like my top 3.
Okay.
I think 808 and Heartbreak is just like incredible. I think the sound and just like the emotion into it. And I grew up as an emo kid, like so I grew up like very like. Just like the music was the emotion and like what they're saying, and so to me like it was everything, like total package. Like it's just like I like music to make you feel something. Like I don't want to go watch somebody at a concert play the piano. Like I want to watch like I want to see people play live and fuck up and it be messy and it be like the one of one time that's gonna happen. Like I like when shit's like that. Yeah.
Okay. So Jesus Walks.
Reel me back in because I'm gonna be going all over the place.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
So Jesus Walks.
Yes.
So for me, I remember the Jesus Walks music video.
Yeah.
And being like, that's different.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that before. That guy's different. That
Yeah.
guy's doing something that, and it was like rap music because I'm, hang on a sec, because I want to make sure I get timing right.
Yeah.
So I'm 14 when Jesus Walks come out, and I'm with you. I'm in My Chem. I'm in Fall Out Boy. Yep. I'm in, like, emo music is at its fucking peak at this point.
Yeah.
And I am all in on that. I'm in on Coheed. I'm in on Avenged. 100%. Like, that's where I am.
Yeah.
And I, like, my friends and I, nobody listens to rap. If you listen to rap, you're like, you know, like a bad word that we don't say anymore.
You're a wigger.
Yeah.
You're a wigger if you listen to rap music.
Yes.
Because it was very, dude, how categorized were things when you were a skater or a jock or like a gangster? Like, dude, growing up is the funniest.
That was the fun part of my friend group is we all played our role. We were the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Where we all came from our core
Bender?
group of friends. No, I was
Brian?
Emilio and Estevez.
Oh. Of course you would be, yeah.
I was the only guy who played sports. I wasn't even like that good of an athlete. I was just the only athlete.
You're the athletic guy.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. That was what it turned into. But like, so for Kanye to come out, and I remember all of us kind of like being like, rap sucks, but Kanye is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of how we got even into where we were. It was like, all new music sucks, but Coheed's okay.
I always, the thing that, like, the earliest moment, too, about, like, that, if you get that album again, like, my friend Dean and I bonded over it because every track list, or every song was just, like, it had, like, a gimmick to it, or it was, like, funny. Like, We Don't Care, awesome. Graduation, I love the interludes. I love the little, like, pieces in between, like,
play something for the kids. They're going to love when they hear it.
Yeah, it's like
Bernie Mac is just delivering shit.
Dude, it was just everything off the rip, like workout plan, like Get 'em High, like every song, slow jams, like this whole, everything just felt like authentic.
Yes.
And like, but a little bit funny.
Yes.
And I love laughing. I love like funny humor, like, and Kanye always had such a unique way of like being like giving us rap music, but never skimping on putting himself into the music. So every time I listen to him, like I think I'm listening to somebody that I would enjoy to hang out with, like someone who we could watch Superbad. And like if I ever met Kanye, I would never. One of the last questions I would ask him would be like, "Where are you inspired? Like, who do you listen to?" Like, I don't give a shit. I want to watch like Step Brothers with Kanye West, or like get him to the Greek and hang out and laugh and smoke and just like that's what I would like to do. Like treat him like an actual person, and not like this like god tier, like put him on a pedestal. Like because I personally don't look at him that way. Like I don't look at Kanye West as like this all up and just as I did not vote for Kanye West this
good
past
all right
election.
Great.
I did not vote for Kanye because like to me I'm just like I like the silly, the goofy, like when he came out with like I Love It. He wrote that song for like the Pornhub Awards with Lil Pump. Like it's hilarious. Or people are like, this is trash. I'm like, quit being so fucking serious about this. Like obviously he's putting this out knowing this isn't like my dark twisted fantasy like works of art. Like it's supposed to be funny and cheeky and like on Jesus King when he's like Chick-fil-A, like it's supposed to be silly. Like fucking loosen up.
Right.
It's music, bro. Like it'll be fucking fine. Like because like Kanye does have moments where like to me he does remind me like if you're at Thanksgiving with your family and your one uncle starts just wilding out going crazy, you're like, dude, we like you. You're a part of the family. We like you. Settle the fuck down. You're embarrassed. Just settle down. Just settle the fuck down. Like I love you. Just chill.
Just relax, man.
Yeah, like because he gets to, and I think that like the media and like everything that gets to him too. But like if you're like at his level of everybody knows who you like, he's literally walking around in Berlin with a mask on, and people still know that it's him. Yeah. Like he can't escape who he is now. So it's like, but I like the gimmick. I like the fun, silly stuff with it. And even if you do write a song or an album like Jesus Walks, like he still makes it like powerful, but like relatable, but like God level, and like I don't know. And that's a thing too. Like people are like all of a sudden like Kanye's all about God. It's like his literal first album, like one of his hit songs was called Jesus Walks.
And it's literally like there's a choir in it. It's like
new.
all about like the video is like very moving. Crosses and like
dude, this is nothing new ever.
No.
But we just live in a world where it's very much like fuck it, I don't care if it's true, write it, push it, publish it, like get it out there. And it's like that fucks with people. It fucks with us.
Yeah.
Fucks with like them. It's everything. But no, I've always liked the shtick, and I've always been able to laugh at Kanye because like I have one foot in with like he's really fucking good.
Yeah.
But I have one foot out looking in like this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, this is wild. Like you can't not look away. So
Right.
to me, it's like how he does things in markets and like to me that's what gets my attention. I'm like that's fucking sick. Like I don't own any Yeezys at all. I don't look good in them personally. They're not my favorite shoe in the world, but like what he's doing but I fucking try them on. Like, they're nice shoes, but I can't afford them. Like they're ridiculous. And I just think like I don't know. I like creating your own style too. Like I don't like
total flip. Do you even wear anything other than Vans?
No, I'm wearing Vans and Wrangler jeans and I think a Mossy Oak t-shirt.
100%. I did not ever know what Vans were, and you were wearing Authentics at Apple, and I remember going like, "What are those?" And you'd be like, "Oh, these are Vans Authentics. There's a store right down there." And I went, "Okay," and then went and bought them.
Pasted, yeah.
Yeah.
Right
I was like, "Okay, cool."
Doing it.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So I'm just gonna keep
yeah,
going.
Yeah.
Because I think we're so I'm aware of Kanye. I know who Kanye is, but I check out on late registration. I'm nowhere into it. I'm not. It's like Gold Digger. I think I probably was aware of, but that was about it.
Gold Digger has 664 million streams. Like it's. I think it's the most streamed song on this album, to be honest.
Oh, for sure it is.
Because Gold Digger is like it's just an iconic song.
I hate that Spotify. Like I get it, Spotify. I hate that all of these are,
Black squares.
Well, black squares, but I hate that these aren't necessarily his top songs. These are just the songs they're pushing.
Right.
I loved it when it was no matter what album just came out.
Yeah.
That was the top. Yeah. So, anyway, let me scroll back down here.
I did like how late registration it played off the whole like college dropout. He's just like, I said fuck it, I didn't go, whatever.
Right.
Late registration to me is like he wants to go back, he wants to do it, and like late registration to me just sounds like the College Dropout Part 2. Like it's the same album artwork.
I think that's
it's the same fit.
Yes.
It's the same like style, and it worked because to me it's like I'd imagine he had like that music written almost probably at the same time. Like late registration, the College Dropout sound like the same thing to me. Like
in Spaceship, he says, "I got 6 or 7 records in my basement."
Yeah,
and I would love to hear them.
Yeah,
because that is. So we'll get to it later. As time has moved on, that is my Kanye. College Dropout, I think, is a perfect album, front to back.
Yeah.
And really inspired me in a very serious point in my life. But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
I think, so I missed College Dropout. Are you, late registration? Are you anywhere on late registration, or you kind of just skip that album too?
Both of them are kind of like good. Like when I first listened to Kanye in Dean's car with his mom's car, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the
Right.
best. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, this is so funny. This is a rap song about like Jesus, and it's like heavy, and you're like, holy, like that. I thought it was funny, interesting, and like that was my first impression. And then I just went on with my life. And a Kanye song would pop up here and then, like growing up, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, and like I liked it, but I wasn't like an immediate hooked fan. I became an obsessive like, I fuck with this guy on 808 and Heartbreak.
Okay.
That's when I was just like, wow.
So let's fast forward.
Yeah.
So I get reintroduced to Kanye at graduation.
Yeah.
Which again is kind of like the third part of the original trilogy, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
But Stronger is given to me by a friend who I really trust, John Stepanski. What's up, man? But like this song, he's like, we were arguing whether or not there was good rap, and he played this song.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this song fucks. And it was the biggest song, like 800 million streams.
Right.
Right. And, I didn't listen to the rest of this album. I only had Stronger downloaded. Because this is back when iTunes, you had to actually pay for stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah. This album, to me, is skip-worthy. Like, I think Stronger is obviously iconic. Can't Tell Me Nothing, I think is the best song on the album.
See, like, as you're saying that, though, I'm like, well, here's Good Morning.
Right.
Like, there's some fucking bangers on here. Flashing Lights.
Flashing Lights. Drunk and Hot Girl is very good. Barry Bonds, also, I don't like that song. But also, Kanye does this thing where, like, I won't like a song, like, overall, but there will be parts in the song that I like, so I end up listening to the whole fucking song anyway. And it's like, I don't know any other artists that can do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like this sample makes me listen to the whole fucking thing. Like I listened to like a song on Donda. It's like, oh God, I forget what track it is, but like there's a little Wheezy Out of Here sample at the fucking the most random placement ever, and I listened to the entire thing just because of that like random little sample. Because like when I heard it, I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
Right.
I love it. That's so out of place, but it's like it's a sloppy like made to order thing. Like I think I don't know, but yeah, he does. He has a way of like getting my attention like in ways that I didn't even know was possible. But now Graduation, I think the world was like futuristic. Graduation, I was in high school still. I was like
we were graduating high school.
Yeah. I was in 10th or 11th grade, I think.
11th.
We
were 11th. Yes. Because we're the same age.
Yeah.
So Graduation happens. Yeah. Awesome. 2007, 2008. 808s and Heartbreaks. I'm not aware of it at all.
Really?
Still have never listened to it.
Yeah. I listened to this because I had a mullet during this time. I was in a metal band during this time, and I had a mullet. And I realized that during like a performance, Kanye also had a mullet. If you look at like his wardrobe during this era, it was very like suit and tie, bow tie. He had like I'd never seen a black guy with a mullet before. It's like one of one, I think. Like he had a mullet, and he almost looked like a librarian or something. It was like the whole image was like dorky 808 keyboard synth guy, and it to me it was just like the whole image I liked. I like how it was very like proper and just
so you're absolutely right. It is that's essentially what what's going on.
Yeah, like
it's as I'm looking at this right now, tell me that's not the fucking Weeknd.
Dude, the amount of fucking artists that this album inspired, Drake credited.
Right.
Every other Drake album after this, I'd phrase that wrong. Every album Drake put out has to be influenced by this.
Look, there's Drake as
there's
the 808.
It's to me, this is just such an emotional, just like because this album, his voice is the most used instrument, like the hums and like the like it's the actual voice. This is
and a lot of auto-tune.
Yeah, tons. I like auto-tune. I think auto-tune's fantastic. I think it's fun, and it's one of those things too where it's like T-Pain used it too, and like it just sounds good. When people are like, "Yeah, but he's not really singing," I'm like, "Who gives a shit? Who cares? Who like, do you know him? Are you losing money because he's using auto-tune?"
Well,
like,
and T-Pain being bastardized for it.
Yeah. And then,
sucked.
Yeah, it did suck, and it's not fair. Did you see that thing on Netflix?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
It's
insane.
Awesome. It's super insane, and it makes you think about that. Like, but I never was one to be like, "Fuck you, T-Pain. You don't have any talent." It's like, no, he's like super talented. Like, you never listened to like "I'm in Love with a Stripper" before.
Yeah,
like
tell me you don't. I don't relate
to that
songs.
I don't relate to that song at all. I don't relate to anything. I don't relate to anything that any rapper or artist has really said ever. I think, but like. I enjoy it, but I'm very like I like the music. The music, the lyrics don't really do much for me. Even growing up, like I listen to like screaming music, so I didn't know and or care what they said. I've always listened to like the meat and potatoes, the drums and the bass, and like what does this sound like to me? Because like to me, I don't listen to an album thinking like this is what they're going through during this time. Like they must have felt this way. I'm like, no, fuck that. This is my life. I'm in my car driving somewhere right now. This is the soundtrack to my life.
I love that.
What I'm doing right now. So your words are like meaningful to some. I'm listening to the fucking music, and that's what makes me drive fast, slow, walk, run. Like I will pull up if I get to the gym and I don't have my headphones. I will turn the fuck around and go home because I need that like oomph to be able to make me overcome that thing that I don't want to do that much. Like
it's totally weird thing. The Union Fitness podcast also I produce.
Yeah,
they did a. One of the guys here, Ethan, did a deep dive on stimulants when you're lifting.
Yeah.
And do you know what an Epsom smelling salt is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So a smelling salt,
they'll
get you, but they get you for the same exact amount of time and hype level, for lack of a better term, as the first riff of a song.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
So like if Freebird comes on that to start Freebird,
that like oh shit
can get you to that level just as quick as a smelling salt.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, now you say that because it gets you that like that that like like that guitar solo hits like that Wheezy Out of Here sample hits. I'm like fuck yes.
Yeah, let's kill something.
Yeah. I'm gonna run through a wall right now. Yeah.
So 808, I totally ignore. You've kind of like.
I encourage you to listen to it.
I will for sure.
Like, drink and like get in a fight with your wife, and then put this on, and you'll go back to her and be like, "I love you more than anything than words can even describe." Like the next time you need a fight, listen to 808 and Heartbreak.
Okay.
Just have a moment to yourself. Drink if you want to. Smoke whatever you're into, and listen to that. and you'll be so much more in love.
That's more Can't Swim, the band.
Yeah,
currently for me is where that goes. Yeah,
that's fair.
My Queen comes on and it goes to 11.
Yeah.
But so then I'm re-brought back in to my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, and all of the lights.
An hour long. Yeah, this is insane.
I mean, this song,
it's a perfect creation.
Changed music.
Yeah,
it changed everything.
You have A-list artists and celebrities. You have just A-listers, talent, music, trumpet. Like it's this whole thing, and the way the beat drops. It's like he has a way of like just lifting you up.
Yeah,
like, I feel like his music, it feels like it's lifting you up. Then when the drop hits, it feels like a fucking like drop. It's just good. It's a feel good like. Yeah, it feels good.
Brian and I are listening to it now.
Yeah.
You can't hear it because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah,
right. But
so good.
It's so good, and for me, where this changes the game, this is 2010.
Yeah.
I am a sophomore in college.
Yep.
Studying video production.
Yeah.
This is the coolest fucking music video I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's amazing. That's where he doesn't skimp. Like even when he looks like he's skimping. It isn't. It's intentionally that way. His first listening party, he was in just all red with a mask on, and he sold out Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and it was just him standing on a white floor, and he just has the draw, and like he makes you curious about. Do you know how his like the marketing for his clothes? Like you know how he actually does it with like Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
He intentionally like he doesn't plan photo shoots like. They went to Japan, and he puts all the new outfits on Kim, and she walks out of the, like someone tips off the paparazzi or something. So like, I mean, if Kim was putting a jacket on, there's gonna be a bazillion cameras going off because like people care about that for some reason. So like, Kanye was like, well, fuck it. They're gonna take pictures of her regardless. I'm just gonna put all my new shit on there because what news travels faster than like, hey, did you hear so-and-so did, like that's going to get your attention, travel, make you tapped in and curious about it versus like dropping this Friday is my new thing, blah, blah, blah. Because that you can at least look at and be like, okay, cool. Or you like think about it, think yes, no. But when it's like hey, did you see this? Like I never saw this type of shoe before. It's like, oh, what is that? Then like it slowly starts coming out. So it's like it's free publicity. It's Kim Kardashian, who's like one of the biggest model, probably the biggest, I guess, model or influencer on the earth. And it's like, he's putting her clothes. So whatever she's doing, like whatever she has, like the Midas touch.
Right.
So it's like, so that to me it's genius. So he spent nothing on marketing, because they're taking pictures of him regardless. It's genius.
So 2014 and next week we're going to talk a lot about wrestling and CM Punk and all sorts of nostalgia stuff. But 2014, CM Punk does a shoot interview with the UFC guy Aubrey.
Okay.
Who does like all the big interviews for everything. He's wearing a Violent Gentleman t-shirt.
Oh. Wow.
One of those things that Anastasia could have painted on my mural is a Violent Gentleman VG logo. Because that is literally my wardrobe since I saw Punk wear it.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what you're just saying that Kanye does.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like you see that, so it's like, all right, cool. Like, did you see anybody wearing fucking Carhartt 2 years ago?
No. It was a Walmart brand.
Yeah.
Champion was Walmart brand.
Our parents wear it. It's like a work. Same with Dickies. Like I wear usually Dickies pants. I wear Dickies pants though because I also was huge on Jackass when I was a kid.
Right.
And I've always wanted to look and be and carry myself like Johnny Knoxville, minus hurting myself. I just always thought Johnny Knoxville was like also like a very funny but like calculated person.
Yeah.
Like how else could you convince someone to put a little toy car up their ass,
right,
and then make it and then sell it and then put it in theater? Like I just appreciate when you can have some like outlandish idea and then it works.
Right.
And like that to me, I'm just like, damn. Because I like to look at things like zoomed in meta, but I also love looking at things like zoomed all the way out. Like, oh well, I guess that did work, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it influences me. It like inspires me to do certain things and like make decisions. So I'm just like, yeah, let's give it a shot.
So my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. I think we could probably say is like the perfect album out of the entire Kanye trilogy. Whether you love Yeezus and Donda and Pablo and all that kind of stuff, this was like the cementing, like, I'm a badass artist. I will make taste for the next 30 years. And whether or not it's his peak musically, is up for debate, but it was definitely his like put my balls on the table moment where he's like, yeah, I'm better than the rest of you.
Yeah.
And the fact that the album artwork is a blurred out him fucking an angel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
pretty cool.
like and I think like the very on like one of the outros of that song, it's like it's Chris Rock. Like Chris Rock is on the Blame Game.
Yep.
And also look at the people featured too. It's like John Legend and Kanye
Bon
West.
Iver.
It's like
Skinny Love is the biggest song maybe ever at that
like,
point.
That's insane.
Yep.
How he can take things like that and then mush it together. It's like I think that he has a very good and creative and like genius way of like making things work. Because even if you hate him, you're still gonna talk about it, and like it's one of those things like any publicity is good publicity, like to an extent.
Also, as a again back to the being a film student at the time, like Runaway, beautiful, Power, like all these songs had these incredible.
That key,
Ding!
Ding. Then
Ding!
it's like, all right, I feel good, like, and then it's like, send a picture of my dick. It's like that, like that's so stupid.
No, but it
like,
was
it
relatable though too.
Yes,
We've all done dumb shit like send a picture of your dick, and now it's all over the internet. Whoops.
Yeah. Oops. Like, it's very good. Like, and then it's literally him hitting a key. Like, it's wild as fuck.
It is.
I skip this album a lot though. I usually don't listen to this album at all. But
it's heavy.
To me, it's one of those things too. It's like a work of art. It's like you go to a museum and you see the Mona Lisa. You're like, God damn. But you don't have to go back and look at it. Like I can just be like, oh fuck yeah, that album is an A+.
Right.
That album is an A+. Do I listen to it? No. But I also don't listen to Under the Cork Tree that often. But that's also an A+ album, and that's undeniable.
Ooh.
Like right? Like it is. Like But it's again like I have because of Kendama and how silly that is, that has given me the capability to not talk shit on other things as much as I'd want to. Because what I do in my free time is so stupid and obscure that, like, for me to be like, that sucks, it's like, it's just not fair to say that. It's like, people could think Kendama sucks. So it's like, it's just one of those,
Kendama, chromekendama.com. Go check it out. We talk a lot about that next week.
Yeah.
So I think everybody in the world is like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then watch the fucking throne.
Yeah.
Game over.
This is also one that I don't listen to that often, but it's one of those things where it's like N-word in Paris.
Yeah. Well, first off,
Will Ferrell quotes Blades of Glory
sample.
Like, it gets the people going. Like again, like
when
it's so.
When Anastasia and I hike, this is the song you put on when you're like at the end of your rope. You're like, I need something to get going. Yeah. It gets the people going.
Yeah, it has a thick 808
also
bass.
hard. Oh.
Yeah.
It's just So
it's a feel good like. Otis, Gotta Have It, Lift Off, No Church in the Wild, Welcome to the Jungle. Who Can Stop Me? Who Can Stop Me is a really good.
Yep.
Yeah, like this.
And it introduces the I Can't Stop. It also introduces us to the power couples.
Yeah.
This is where
and what you can do with
right, because same time or shortly after comes out Beyonce, Surfboard, like Jay-Z, like this is like the peak of the four of them run the fucking world. They're the Illuminati. It's over.
It's so good because I think Kanye does his best when there's a fucking chip on his shoulder.
Oh,
like when he's feeling good and he's like doing his thing, that's when it's silly and you get like the Chick-fil-A stuff. Like, but when he has a fucking chip on his shoulder and he feels like people are not like. People think he's like out of touch. Like that's when I think he just brings the heat. Like that's when he really, and like with Jay-Z, like I think people still classify this as like one of the best collab albums ever.
Yeah, I mean like, Jay-Z, straight up Collision Course and Watch the Throne.
Fuck, dude, Linkin Park Collision Course is such a fucking underrated album.
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you just said that. I personally as well. I don't listen to Jay-Z at all.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do it for me when it comes to like just music and like I think it's because like I may have been a little bit younger when like Jay-Z was like super popular, but at the same time, it's fucking Jay-Z. Like you can't whether you I don't dislike Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I just personally don't listen to his music that much, but like if Dirt Off Your Shoulders comes on, like I'll sing the song. I didn't even know that I knew the lyrics.
Yeah,
but I do. You know what I mean? Like
that's a great way to put it. Yes.
I know. I didn't even know I knew them. Like, and it's but you have to respect when like greatness, if you will, is like in your presence and it's happening. Like at the listening party with Donda, like when Jay-Z came out of nowhere on Jail, that was like that's really what sold people. Jail, I think, is like next to Hurricane. Jail is like one of the most popular songs from that. And then the second listening party, Jail came on. People were like, "Oh shit!" And then it was DaBaby instead of Jay-Z. So people were like, "What the fuck?" For multiple reasons. They're like, DaBaby's canceled right now, so you can't listen to that. But that's where like the other half of me comes in, where it's like, well, I'm curious, like, is the DaBaby canceled? Because like him saying like homophobic stuff on stage is like fucking stupid. Like it's immature, and it's just like once you're that famous and like you're literally running around stage with money, like physically and literally hanging out of your pockets, like, and it's like you don't need to act like that. It's just like immature and stupid. But at the same time, like if you listen to what DaBaby is saying in like his lyrics, like his mother had multiple jobs. He was raised by like thugs and like drug dealers and like crackheads, and like that's how he came to be. So it's like I'll understand that perspective, but also you live in the 21st century. You can't be fucking saying shit. It's bad taste.
But also the reason we love DaBaby is because it takes us back to like Ja Rule, 50 Cent,
Nelly, like the goofy rap. Almost,
like
Southern.
You're like, oh shit, like Masterpiece.
Yeah,
I'll still play it. Yeah, one of my favorites, and we'll get to that later because I have a lot to say about that particular flip. So Watch the Throne comes out.
Iconic.
It dominates everything, and then how's he follow that up by a entire fucking features album, good music.
Oh, dude.
Cruel Summer was just so fucking cool, and Mercy's
so fucking good.
Like this song was so everywhere. This is
in
before
like football highlight videos,
everything.
The radio. Like I don't know if it was on the radio, but it was like
everyone's
iPod had it. Everyone's iPod had Mercy.
Yes. And so the
good.
Beat, and like how everybody raps on the same beat, but then when Kanye comes in, they change the entire it's like a different fucking song.
Yeah.
Just because it's Kanye.
Usually Kanye is the weakest. I think. Yeah. Like when it comes to music, like the part that always sounds flat or bad is Kanye. Yeah. Like, but that to me is like I like that it's out of tune a teeny bit. It's more authentic. Like it's real, and like it's one of those things where it's like he knows he could pitch correct this and fix it, but it's like this is what I sound like. Did you know that the bottom row of his teeth are gold?
Yeah.
The bottom row of his like 6 teeth or something, he had them taken out, and it's just a gold.
We lost them
from the accident.
From the accident.
So he got to replace with the gold. Yeah.
He made a song where he raps through a fucking head cage.
Like this.
Yeah.
We should have done the podcast like this.
We should have done that. Okay. So we'll do the next part like this.
Shelly, like South Park. Yeah.
Shelly.
We needed headgear for this. Yeah, but it's like this also shows that like he's capable of doing more. I need to go back and listen to this too, because actually this is probably the least played album from Kanye. I think,
and if you want to talk about like,
oh my god,
let's look at this. Like we said, like Dark Beautiful Fantasy was the most featured. This is only features.
Yeah.
Let's just read off some people. R. Kelly, canceled now, but still at the time was insane.
Yeah.
Big Sean was coming up, was becoming a big guy.
Yeah.
Pusha T, 2 Chainz. All right, all these guys are
DJ
awesome.
Khaled.
Ghostface Killah. We got an old school one in here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fuck. What are we doing here?
Yep.
Common.
Maze.
But then you see some shit in here that, like, you're like, oh my god, Tiana Taylor.
Travis Scott.
Travis
Scott. I don't think Travis Scott wasn't even. I don't even know if Rodeo was even out by this point. Like,
let's see.
Do you like Travis Scott?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like Travis Scott.
I think it's like. Do you like Kendrick?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
2015 is Rodeo.
And
this is 2012, so he doesn't even exist.
So like Pariah
yet.
may have been out from Travis. So yeah, so Travis Scott is literally just like which you knew that. I think Travis Scott was like Kanye's like understudy. Like he was. I mean, he's literally married into like the Kardashian family and stuff. It's like yeah.
But like Kid Cudi, right? Kid Cudi's huge at this point, right?
I'm not a Cudi guy.
It's one of
the it's the same copy paste exactly what I said about Jay-Z.
Sure.
And put that on Kid Cudi.
Man on the Moon 2 has come out. Yeah. Man on the Moon 1 is already out. That's where we are with Kid Cudi.
Right.
We are at peak Cudi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
And he's on this album. Like it's just insane to see like the amount of like studs, right?
Yeah.
Like the Big Sean's, the Pusha T, the 2 Chainz, but then the future of Tiana Taylor, Travis Scott, all come together on this fucking album is just fucking insane.
Yeah, it's wild. And I think that like to have that is to do that and to like convince people to do that too, because like I'm sure you pre-screen people like, hey, this is what I'm working on, and it's like, but if you're Kanye West, it's like I'm skeptical, but I'm also just as much trustworthy of it. So let's do it.
And it's also where we start to get the insanity of Kanye.
Yeah.
Because this is where it's coming, and it doesn't come.
Yeah.
Just individual drops, but we never get the whole album until years later when he's like almost, I think, forced to release it at some point. Yeah. So we're starting to get like the insanity of Kanye a little bit, and then this is where
he's famous now. Like he's famous.
He can't walk anywhere.
Famous. Like he is at the pinnacle. So now it's the point where like Yeezus, I think, is like when he turns heel.
I would say that is a perfect, because he's literally comparing himself to Jesus.
Yeah.
I am a god. And which one isn't it on this album?
On I Am a God.
Yeah.
Some of the track listings, like on Apple Music and stuff, it says I Am a God featuring God. Kanye is the only person on this song, so he's literally saying that this song is called I Am a God featuring God, i.e. me. Like, that's the most egotistical shit ever. Like, this is, I think, the most hated Kanye album ever. People hate this album.
Really?
Yes, because it doesn't sound like a rap. Imagine a Kanye West album. Imagine hearing Cruel Winter and Watch the Throne, and then hearing, like, samples and scratches and, like crazy, just like screaming into a void, like with voice distortion. Like this is my favorite album, and I'm not even just saying that because it's like it's cool to like the uncool, like cool, but like that is the hipster in me, like coming out. But at the same time, like On Sight is like I think probably my favorite Kanye song of all time.
Okay, so I am in my first job, and it's crazy because I can land point to Kanye, right? So we're working together at the Apple Store in 2017.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Or 13 rather.
Yep.
And I remember hearing Black Skinhead, and that beat dominating.
His SNL performances for these songs too are fucking beautiful.
My favorite part is hearing, and it was so Jason Sudeikis recently did Sneaker Shopping.
Yes, he did.
To propose.
I watched it. Yeah,
I watch it. You talk about you rather watch something you've watched. That's my like office right now. I just put that on just so I can hear him talk.
It's feel good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he talks about hearing Black Skinhead for the first time and being like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And everyone at this like super fashion gala or whatever was pissed because they didn't hear Gold Digger and Lights and all this stuff.
Right.
He played this and then walked off stage because nobody dug it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like,
this to me sounds like a Nine Inch Nails album. Like this sounds like Trent Reznor. To me, like very dark. I think every song on this album I think is fucking awesome. Like it's very. This is like one of the first of his like trimmed albums, because like this is like one of the first ones where it's like it's under an hour. It's only like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Then there's 10 songs and they're very just like fucking take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people left it. Like even like the album cover was just like
just
a
the
CD with like the red sticker.
You know what it reminds me of? Steal This Album
from
System of a Down.
Yes. Yeah. We're just like steal this album on the disc. Yes, that's exactly what it reminds me of. But I think Yeezus is just so, like, people are just starting to like it, like, kind of like now.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, like it's just because everything's so like music is so all like the fact that you can call Post Malone like a hip hop artist is like kind of like tongue in cheek almost. Like
not
I
that
think
there's anything wrong with Post Malone, Brian.
No, I fucking love Post. I love Posty. Don't ever get it twisted. Post Malone is the Taylor Swift for guys, in my opinion.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
because I also love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'm not a Taylor Swift person, but it to me it's the same thing. Same thing I said for Kid Cudi and Jay-Z. Copy paste again for Taylor Swift. Like she's the GOAT. Personally, not into it, but it is what it is. I love it.
And I think too for me, where this album again, and I always go back to this because this is how it's the visuals. And Bound 2, the music video.
Just such a weird sample, and then like an old
honey.
and him just like on like the shitty green screen riding the bike, and like
Kim's just naked,
reverse cow on it, like it.
But then like, and you know, you said he's famous now.
Yeah.
How famous is he? That everybody's favorite comedy duo at the time does a mock version of it.
Right.
When Seth Rogen and James Franco
that
recreate
is such a funny fucking video.
Yep.
Like, and then this is also around when like a few years after this, I think is when like South Park started bringing Kanye in as like the gay fish and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, and it was just one of those things that's playing into like the thing where he's like, no, I'm not saying, like, you've seen the episode, it's hilarious. Like, and that's where I thought it was so funny. Like, I remember someone being like, "Oh, Kanye's getting made fun of on South Park." I was like, "I know," because it's insanely like poke worthy. Like, it's hilarious. Right. Like, he's a fish, and it like he just has such a big brain that like the obvious is going. Like, it's hilarious, and I'm here for all of that too. I love it. I think it's so funny.
It is the first time I think where I start to catch on to that. There's more to this than just the music.
This is when he also started. This is around the time where he started like really pushing the fashion, and everyone was like, "You're an artist," and that just pissed him off more. And he was like, "Okay," and then just like,
watch this.
Yeah. Like, all right, hold this real quick. Because like,
hold my beer.
Yeah, like honestly, he's like, "Okay," like, and then, this is like when the shoe. I think this is when like, no, the Nike Red October stuff. I think was like during Twisted Fantasy, maybe.
Hang on a sec.
I just know Yeezus is where it was like becoming very fashion or like oriented. That's when he was wearing like a lot of like Yeezy clothes and just like really trying to like break that glass ceiling of like an artist.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Yeezys. So 2013 is when the Nike he switches from Nike to Adidas.
Yeah. Which I like. I think the Adidas shoes look cooler.
Well, the Adidas are the ones that transcend it.
Yeah.
Right. The Nike versions, our sneakerheads are like, okay, cool.
It's still like it's like the highest pinnacle of hype shit, like the Red Octobers.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But then when he switches to Adidas, that's when 13-year-old kids start wearing it.
Right. And that's when parents are buying it for the
Right.
Yeah. One of the things I think I love about Yeezus too is like growing up and listening to like metal and it just being like anything you listen to like a hardcore band, it's always was like a shitty recording and it was like sloppy and it was just like that's what it was. Yeezus reminds me of that. Yeezus reminds me of very just like to the point, aggressive, like not the best mixed thing ever, but it's very just like grungy and like just scatterbrained and it reminds me of like underground like hardcore like metal kind of like so I think that's why I'm most drawn to that. It's like the most bold I think of his like work.
So I think it's interesting for me because Yeezus, I'm at the Apple store and you become a big influence on my life, whether you knew it or not. Like the way I dressed, the music I started listening to, even down to like some of the vernacular I started using. Well, I mean, obviously, fuck, I'm gonna fuck it up. No. Oh, you thought.
You thought so.
You thought.
I thought.
But like all of that really like starts to influence me, and I remember listening to Yeezus and then being like, well, I remember Kanye from like back in the day. How did he get here?
Yeah.
And that's when I start to dive back into it. And I go back digging through and I go back to College Dropout and the song Spaceship absolutely hits me in the fucking chest.
It's a vibe.
Well, it was us.
Good. Yeah.
Working at a mall.
Yeah.
Dreaming about bigger fucking things and like being, fuck this, I'm done with this. But like knowing you just got to finish this fucking cigarette and go back in there and deal with it.
That is such a good way of putting it where it's like, I want to move, I want to run away right now, but I have to just swallow this fucking cigarette and get the fuck back in there.
Yep.
And I appreciate stuff like that too, where it's like, we both know we don't want to do this,
right?
But we're gonna do it as if we fucking love it, regardless,
right?
Like currently at my job, I'm not like the happiest, but my NPS is almost the highest in the store where it comes to like customer satisfaction stuff.
I'm gonna have to beep NPS, you know that, right?
NPS, yeah. I acknowledge Lana's sure everyone's fucking balls off. It's nice. It's very good.
But that's where I think Kanye went from being a guy that I knew about and I liked some of his songs to being like a top 20 artist of all time for me.
Yeah.
And not that he belongs in the 20, he probably belongs in a top 5, but for my own personal taste.
Of course.
Top 20.
Yeah.
And more importantly, that his music would, like you said, become the soundtrack to my life in a large way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
Yeezus was the first time where I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm listening to Black Skinhead, and so much so that when my first big chance came to cut a Run Out song, that was my proposal.
Yeah.
Was Black Skinhead. And they're like, absolutely not, Josh.
The-
Like, you cannot use this song. And I'm like, but the players will love
yeah,
it.
it's gonna get people going.
Right,
It's
it
gonna
gets
get
the
them,
people
it
going.
will. It will.
So I ended up using N-words in Paris
Yes,
instead. So
yes.
that was
well,
fun,
also gets people
but
going.
yes, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where Kanye, I think, gets his hooks in me for the first time. Like, actually gets his hooks in me.
Yeah.
And then there's the first time since 2004 we have a gap without Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 3-year hiatus.
Oh, I didn't realize it was like the longest.
Oh, dude, literally.
It really was the
04 to 05.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
He takes 06 off. Graduation comes out in 07. 08 is 08's. 2010 is Twisted Disaster or Fantasy.
Yeah.
Watch the Throne's 11. Good Music is 12. Yeezus is 13. And then we get a 3-year break.
Yeah.
Largely because he's pushing his fashion stuff.
It was the big gap was for clothes and music, like the Yeezy line and like Adidas, and that's where he makes all of his money now.
Yep.
Like the only reason he wrote Donda was to like I think get it off his chest and like lay that to rest finally about like his like mother, but also it's the best way he could promote his clothes.
Right.
So like that's why he does it now. Like it, but the gap makes sense. I think it does. Pablo was the first sign of shit going off the rails, I think. And that's when I was like kind of nervous because I saw I went to the St. Pablo tour. I saw it in Los Angeles and I saw it in Cleveland, Ohio. And the Cleveland show is way harder. Like LeBron James was there in the crowd. They literally put a spotlight on him and he was like up like this. I was like, I'm in the same fucking room as LeBron James right now. Like,
right.
And he had the floating stage, and I had seats because I didn't want to like have to look up and just see like. I want to be able to like again zoom out and just be able to like experience all of it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that I wasn't, because he canceled the whole half the tour. Because that's when like Kim was like robbed or something or kidnapped or.
Well, and that was the mental breakdown.
Yeah, that's when he was screaming
the
about
other
like
big part of
Jay-Z,
it.
don't kill me, all this kind of stuff, like just shit that. That's where he just got like, the filter came off, I think, and he just started saying fuck everything. And this is also before he like literally. Did you see the video of him like pissing on a Grammy, like a few months ago? Like, yeah, like last year or something. It's like, this is when he started like snap, and I think that. I was a little bit nervous because I was like, damn, like, I want to see artists, like, strung out, but I don't want to see them, like, actually, like, fall apart and, like, die. Like, I don't want that to happen. But, like, I want to see rock stars rock star the fuck out. So, like, I hung on still. I was like, let's do it. Like, I want to keep being a Kanye fan. And, like, Life of Pablo I think is fantastic. I remember I went to the listening party. I bought tickets, and I went to, like, a movie theater in, like, Pittsburgh somewhere. And we just watched like the clothes. Like he had like he had a listening party for his album, which was like I think the first time a listening party was ever a thing. He sold out Madison Square Garden, and it was just him, a computer, an aux cable, and like all of the new Yeezy clothes. So it was like a fashion show, but also like his album. And the tour was afterwards. The tour was cut short because of like mental health issues, and then like. I think, like, honestly, like, that was really the first time mental health became, like, a hot button, I think, for, like, me at least. Like, that's been, like, one of the, like, the first times it was, like, tapped in or to me, and I was just like, oh, I guess mental health is a real thing that you have to, like, stop. Because, like, I'm from a family that's, like, when you're down, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and fucking get over it, and you gotta work. We all gotta work. Gotta do what you gotta do. But, like, that, to me, is where... I started like just like looking at it more like, oh wow, I guess people do kind of like crumble and break and like bend at a certain point. And like lately, like in my 30s, I kind of felt it too with just like COVID-19 and like jobs and all that kind of stuff too. I was like, damn, like, do I have mental health issues? Like, am I depressed too? But then it was one of those things where like I have interpersonal conversations with myself like on a regular basis, and I'm like just like a self-evaluation. Like, I'm good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Like, Brian's good.
Yeah.
And that, like, Pablo, I think, is, like, when I first started thinking about that. Because it's one of those things where, like, he influences me with music and gets me motivated, like, go to the gym and, like, work and, like, live life. But also gets me, like, to think about, like, life, too. Where I'm like, let me just self-evaluate myself and make sure, like, shit's okay.
Right.
But I am glad that he didn't storm out on the 2 shows I saw because his concert was fucking sick.
But do you remember? So this is we've transcended. He went from famous to crazy now, and he is the enigmatic artist that you never know. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
He's at the Axl Rose stage. Where you buy tickets to see Guns N' Roses, you may not see fucking Guns N' Roses.
He's at
that
like
night.
his fucking oh my god,
the big puffy jacket.
Who's the 2.5 Men? The guy that went,
Charlie Sheen.
He's at Charlie Sheen moments. Like he was getting lumped in the same category where it's like here's this A-list celebrity but now he's kind of off the rails. So like, let's see what's going on. Like, it got eyes on it. I think that was like, that wasn't a gimmick like at all. That was him really like I think crumbling and just dealing with like. And he married into the Kardashians too, so it's like that's a bunch of eyes when you're going to be there. It's like it's just
well, and he realizes even for his kids that he can't protect them because his kids were born into an enterprise.
Yeah,
and that's really where everything
it will never work ever.
No,
ever.
Yep, and
ever.
that they will always be somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think so. The other part I love about this album, not only is it the like he's kind of going weird on Yeezus and now he's full crazy in Pablo, right?
Yeah.
But he also just went like again and kicked into pop culture 7 different ways.
Yes.
First off,
yes.
introduces Chance the Rapper to the mainstream.
That was my first impression of Chance the Rapper was the Ultralight Beam. Yeah.
Yeah. Diehard internet Chance guy.
Really?
Like all the way back. But like
copy paste what I said about Jay-Z, Taylor Swift,
sure.
Kendrick, all onto
Chance.
The same, yeah.
But then at the same breath, Kanye's crazy, but writes coloring book for Chance, doesn't charge him a dime, and they win a Grammy.
Yeah, like it's the Midas touch.
So he does that. Okay, he also introduces us to this one like. Kind of weird braided fucking country artist turned hip hop artist Post fucking Malone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he is the guy who sings the hook on the fucking amazing Fade.
Yeah.
Right? So he's singing on Fade. Tiana Taylor's in the video. Like he literally just like kicks over the bee's nest on everybody that's fucking popular now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kanye.
I like that he doesn't have to. Like, he wasn't even in the video. It was just her.
Just her.
Just being sexy.
Being hot.
Just kicking ass.
Yep.
Like, and I think, like, I love when you can disconnect and, like, I like how he can be like, here's my thing. I'm not involved in it. Like, because he produces, like Pusha T album.
Right.
Like, Kiss He Ghost he was, like, involved in. But, yeah, this album I think is fantastic. I remember seeing in theaters when he said, I made that bitch famous, like, talking about Taylor Swift.
Yep.
And I was like, because he's doubling down on the fucking when he cut like that's insane to be old. It's like when you're in The Office, like Diversity Day. Like watching that episode is like in high school is like one way you're like, oh, they shouldn't be saying this. But watching as an adult and like actually dealing with HR and you're like, oh fuck, like you can't do this. To like run up on stage and cut off Taylor Swift, this like innocent woman who's just like accepting an award.
She wasn't even. I don't even think she was 18 yet.
And he's just like to be like, yeah, whatever. But Beyonce had the craziest shit. It's like I commend that. But even that video clip, like Beyonce's face, she's like, you can see her mouthing like, oh Kanye, no, like don't like. I appreciate that, but oh my god, don't do it at the expense of like this other person, like,
right?
And I think that in Pablo, it shows like the scatterbrainness of like, no, fuck that, I did it for a reason,
right?
But then also like, I'm sorry. But I did it anyway. So
can
deal
we?
With it.
I gotta show you one more thing.
Please.
That it's like, oh my god, as you're thinking about it, check out this fucking merch for the Life of Pablo tour.
I have the maroon one. As I feel like.
Does
Pablo.
this look like anything to you? Like I don't know, every fucking concert tour shirt now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like look at this fucking shit.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
Yep.
He literally fucking rebirth the idea of like
the cheesy like
everything.
Yeah, I have that shirt, the maroon, like I feel like Pablo. Yeah.
Well, and like literally like this, like it's just when you're looking at that, and then like when you go to your beloved whatever fucking show that you're gonna go to this summer, and you buy your merch, you're gonna be like, God damn it, Josh was fucking right.
Yeah.
I remember going to Beartooth.
Yeah.
Great band. Great fucking
Caleb
rock
Schindler,
out
super talented
metal band.
Yep.
Fun. And I saw the concert shirt, and it was literally the Life of Pablo shirt, just said Beartooth on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fucking shit.
I do wish though
that was like 7 years later.
The alternate name to the Life of Pablo, originally the album was supposed to be called Swish, which I think is like
that would have
so
been it.
hard.
That would
like,
have been
so hard.
Yes.
Like swish, like that to
Game
me is
over.
like the
Everybody
hardest,
knows what it means.
The hardest like statement thing. And then I was standing in line at the movie theater about to see the listening party, and that's when he like switched the name. The same thing he did with like Yay, the album after. I think it was the album after this.
Yeah.
Like that to me is an okay album. I don't love it, but like it is what it is. I think the rollout was cool with it, but that was his like peak. Like I think he literally had like a hospital band on during the thing. Like he was physically in and out of this thing, like trying to finish this album, and people were just like, "You're doing too much."
Yeah.
But it's one of those. It's like that just stubbornness of like, nah, I gotta finish it. Like I like, yeah.
So Life of Pablo, he has proverbially kicked over the bee's nest for pop culture for the next decade.
Yep.
He has created merch that people will copy for the next decade.
Yeah.
He's insane at this point as he's releasing a fashion line that is taking over the world.
Yeah.
Okay, his shoes are everywhere. Like he is everywhere. He's insane.
Yeah.
I want to pause here, and you brought it up already. And I want to dive. I'm gonna open Pandora's box into the conspiracy theory part of this. You mean tell me all this shit wasn't calculated? You mean to tell me that he had nothing to do with like he went up there, he took the mic away from Taylor Swift, right? Then 7 years later, puts Taylor Swift in his music video as he's fucking her figuratively.
Yeah.
And she approved it.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that was on accident? You mean to tell me he's like, I'm broke, I got no money, and then drops this fashion line that dominates fashion for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that he's insane as he writes one of the most honest and truthful albums that literally won Record of the Year from the Grammys in Coloring Book for Chance?
Yeah. I think that he rolls with the punches a lot too. Like a lot of it's calculated, like all of it's calculated, but there are some things like Kim getting like mugged or whatever and like kidnapped and like getting robbed in Paris, and he was in like some like stage is like performing a concert, and, like literally just like left. Like that I don't think was planned, like shit like that. But then he rolls into the like I still stand by everything's like it's all calculated, but like he also will roll with the punches like when things are like kind of in front of him, because it's like if your wife is like being held at gunpoint or something, I don't know if that even would happen, but like you have to adapt and you have to kind of like pause and do it.
He's a borderline between the greatest improv artist ever and like, okay, that worked. Now how do we follow this up?
Yeah. Like he had to just kind of go out. And that's, I think, when he like started like doing the listening parties like more, because like, Yay, I think that album is technically called "I Hate Being Bipolar." No, the album's called Yay, but on the front of it, it says "I hate being bipolar. It's awesome."
Yes,
which I think is an interesting statement as well, because like he talks about like it being a superpower. I think this is actually the shortest Kanye album ever. This is like, it's 23 minutes. It's not even half of an hour.
Yeah, and it's
kind of a snoozer.
It's nothing.
This to me feels like a therapy session. Like the opening track, like I thought about killing you, but at towards the end of this track, it sounds like Yeezus.
Right. All of a sudden, the beat comes in.
So good, like so good, and like I thought, he thought about killing himself. I guess is like that's the whole thing. Right. Yikes is pretty good. All Mine, like,
but it's there's not a hit on here. Whereas Life of Pablo, probably his most hit-laden album since, like, My Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah. Pablo is just like, that was also the very first time he said an album was coming out, and it didn't.
Right.
Because this is, like, after Yeezus, I was on the hook. Like, after 808 and Heartbreak, I was on the hook. I was like, I love Kanye West. And then, like, Yeezus came out, and I was like, I don't know if I love this, but it almost sounds like a metal album, so, like, I think I'm going to like this. So I just, like, kind of, like, it's one of those things, like, remember back in the day when you would buy a CD? Like, you have to make a conscious decision to spend $15 on a CD. It's like, I only like one song on here, so I hope that I like this album. I remember, like, I bought Stained, 14 Shades of Grey, when I was on a Gettysburg field trip at school, knowing I only liked one song.
Right.
And I got the album, and I remember just, like, not liking any of it. And I was just like, fuck. But I kept listening to it because I was, like, trying to train myself, like, I will like this song or this album. And then, like, that's kind of how I felt with, like, Yay. I was like, I'm going to like this album. I bought merch. I tuned into the listening party. And that also was very scatterbrained. Like, didn't come out the day it was supposed to come out. And it was just, like, which I think that, if I could give, like, Kanye feedback, like, that's annoying. Like, it is annoying that, like, as an artist, you have, like, one job to put out an album, and then to, like, just not is, like, like rude.
Yeah.
Like it's like super rude.
Yeah.
It's almost like being like, I'll be there, baby, and just no call, no show. It's like that's kind of rude. But like, but he also hasn't said like even like with Donda now, he hasn't said like a word at all. Like, and I think that not to like jump all into Donda and stuff now, but that's why he was like wearing the mask and stuff. Like he didn't want to be himself. He wanted to just be a figure of Kanye West.
Well, and I think we're there because kids see ghosts.
It was good.
Whatever.
It's cool as an experimental thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I don't listen to it that often, but I appreciate that it exists.
Right.
I appreciate that it
Here's
exists.
what I appreciate exists is Jesus is king.
This is an interesting one.
So this is at the same time he starts doing Saturday Mass out in the middle of the desert at this
Sunday
church.
services,
Or that's it. Thank
Sunday
you.
service choir.
And it is so intelligent because it is like handing the playbook to a sports fan.
Yeah.
Like, here's exactly what we're going to run.
Yeah.
So you know it's coming. We know it's coming. We can all enjoy it together.
Yes. This was the hardest to be a Kanye West fan. There is not a religious bone in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I was like raised Catholic, but after I was like confirmed and stuff, like my family became like a Christmas, Easter family up to the point where I was like 17 and I was like, I'm not going. And my mom was like, you have to. And I was like, we're the people that they talk about. We're the ones that are showing up 10 minutes late in the back of the fucking church
with your white Sealer jersey on.
Yeah, with your fucking Palomalu jersey. Like I'm not going anymore. And I was like, went to Sunday school. I got confirmed. I fucking did what you asked. I was like, I'm not going. I'm not religious.
Yeah.
And like my parents aren't like these like holy people, but they were like not stoked when I was like at my angst teen stage, just like I'm not doing it, and I don't fucking care. And I had a mullet, and like they're like wearing girls' pants and stuff. I was like, I'm not going anymore. But like. So this was difficult because I was able to separate the religion also with like just fortunately in the beginning I've said that I've listened to the music always. So musically, I think Jesus is King is a great album. I bought it. I have it on vinyl. Like it's a very cool like record.
Yeah.
And it is like uplifting. It's a very like uplifting album. But again, it's like this is I feel like where I shoot myself in the foot because like Kanye could literally shit in a paper bag and write Yeezy on it, and I would tune
Buy
in.
it,
Like,
right.
yeah, like it. But at the same time, it's like I think it's okay to be a super fan of people, like because I'm not like at the same time like I know that he's doing it as an act. I know it's like a part of the gimmick and the image, and like I appreciate that and I buy into it.
Yep.
All at the same time by realizing like this is all a show. He's making money. It's a business. Like I get it.
Right.
So I tune in. Like when I go to Star Wars in Disneyland, I know that I'm not fucking actually on the Millennium Falcon, but like it's cool.
Yeah.
To fucking be a part. So that's how I kind of translate the Kanye West. I'm like, all right, I'll go with you. I'm gonna listen to this whole entire thing. And like, I think Jesus King is hard because like, it's the #1 gospel album of all time.
Yeah.
So it shows that he's able to like piss off the Taylor Swifts of the world and make it go #1, and also like do like religion and make it go like #1. And it's like he has the capability. And also the other biggest like thing was like this is not the first time we've heard Kanye say Jesus in music. It's literally happened since like the first album ever.
His first single
literally
is literally Jesus Walks.
Like so I was like it was the first song I ever heard from him. So I was like, yeah, I'm cool. Like it is what he's always talked about this kind of shit. But like that album mixed with like the media and like how we live life now with Instagram and phones and Twitter, it's like people are gonna like it's one of those things like press. It's just like fuck it. I don't even care if it's true. Just put it out there. So people will be like. It also breaks my heart too when like you see an album come out. It's like the album's been out on iTunes and Spotify for like 3 minutes, and people are like trash emojis, trash cans. I'm like, give it a fucking sec. It's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like give it a sec. And I don't appreciate that kind of stuff. And like I really don't pay like mind to it. And I just try to like listen to it for what it is. And like the same thing is like even if I don't like something, I will still give it the time of day. Like Mac DeMarco, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like the image, I like the way he dresses, I like what he's doing. I do not like his music. It's just very slow for me. But everything else I can appreciate it, and I can understand why other people like it, and that's why I'm not going to say it sucks. Like,
I just want to. So here's what
rambling.
I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're mad about Jesus is King, and you listen to that new Justin Bieber album, I will fight you in the fucking parking lot.
Right.
Like, literally come let me punch you in the mouth. Because it is Christian rock, but with Bieber, and we're all eating it up.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking dope.
Yeah.
But it's the same fucking thing.
It's on the radio, just being force-fed, reheated, back to back.
Right.
Like it's nonstop. But Jesus King was hard because with the media again too, it's like he was doing this. He was hanging out with fucking Joel Osteen, which is like odd as fuck.
And this is also the Magna era.
And like the MAGA
era.
I'm just like, oh my god. So it's like my friends all rag on me because I'm a Kanye fan. And I was just getting DMs and texts and like Twitter articles and like when he was at the White House, like hanging out wearing the MAGA hat, I remember just being like, fuck.
So let me lay something out here.
But I also have a reasoning too.
Okay.
Like, I think that like the anarchy logo is like not a nice logo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anarchy means like go against the grain. Fuck this, like anti-establishment, and it's like a symbol of something. And like when you see an anarchy logo, it's symbolic. You mean like, and I think that like when you see a MAGA hat, it is also symbolic. Like I'm sorry, but like I'll go on record and say I can't have a conversation with someone if they're wearing a MAGA hat, present day, and not deliberately trying to pick a fight with somebody. It's like you're wearing that as a fucking target on purpose, and that's just the way you are. And that's the thing. Like I don't even like hate Donald Trump or want him to die or anything. It's like the same as like I can separate it and be like he's a businessman. He's literally a Hollywood slapdick star that he just like conned his way into the White House, and people ate it. He said what we wanted people to say. He said on TV what like people wanted him to say, and like like go against the grain, like fuck you. So I think by him putting on that red hat, I think that he was like putting on his anarchy logo, and he was just like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I know this is not good.
Yeah.
But I'm still Kanye West, and I'm still gonna like because he also came out and said that like he wore it because he liked Trump's determination. Like he liked Trump's like, nah, we're gonna do what we want anyway, and that's what he liked. And overall, he's like, no, of course there's flaws and errors with Donald Trump. He was like, but he knew that like doing that would get attention,
right?
Which it did.
Yep.
And it wasn't good attention, but then it maybe it was. Maybe people that like Donald Trump didn't like Kanye. Now they do. So like,
I think there's a million things. First off,
Yeah.
the anarchy logo
And I could
tagged
be
to
wrong.
the MAGA
I could be
hat,
wrong.
I think is so fucking spot on because one, we've seen Kanye wear anarchy logos well before the MAGA hat era.
Right.
That was like a regular part of his clothing.
Yeah.
Second, that is 100% correct because to tie Violent Gentleman back into it, we had hats that say "Make Hockey Great Again," and they were red, and everybody was like, they sold out of them the second they fucking came out because that's exactly what it was. It was just a symbol.
It's a symbol. It's like
Yep.
you're attached to something, and once you read it, you're like, oh, cool. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And like even like I remember when the stuff started happening in South Carolina, I wore a Red Wings hat to the rink that day. It's a Detroit Red Wings hat in a hockey rink. There should be no political tie to that at all. That is just like that's the sickest franchise that ever played the fucking game. Like
it's
he's
the color of the team.
right. He's representing.
Yeah.
But so one of the people who was like showed up with the assault rifle was wearing like Red Wing shit.
Yeah.
So like, but like I
Right,
remember
right.
somebody stopping me and be like, "Hey man, you probably don't want to wear that hat for like a week," and I'm like, "What?" Not even realizing what had just happened.
Right.
But like I'm in a hockey rink. Red Wings hat is all of a sudden bad. Like the one place where it should never be anything other than the Red Wings.
Right. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So I love that. But I also in this era we finally get I don't want to see a meeting of the minds because I think that puts too much onus into what these people say.
Yeah.
But I do believe it is true that they dictate popular opinion so heavily.
Yeah.
Kanye goes on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Like, yeah. That. Did you listen to that episode or watch it?
Here's how I listened to it. Was driving from Death Valley to Yosemite.
Oh, wow.
So I'm literally like in the desert, like Anastasia and I are like
So you were like in the room with Joe and Kanye and young Jamie.
pretty
Like,
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Just
tapped in.
like tapped in,
Yep.
nothing else. Like this beautiful landscape is like outside of our car.
Death Valley is beautiful.
And Anastasia and I are just locked in on this insane conversation between Kanye and Joe Rogan. And just being like so amazed that we were listening to it. Because like I don't think this happened back in the day.
Mm-mm.
Like JFK didn't sit down with Mick Jagger.
No.
That didn't
like
fucking
no,
happen.
that didn't happen.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it's one of those like incredible things, and like because that interview was supposed to happen like countless times prior, and I think that he wanted to originally when they were gonna do it, that's when he was like in the I hate being bipolar, it's awesome kind of state, and he was in like Wyoming a lot, like making that album and just resetting his life and trying to get grounded again. So he was like, now's not a good time. Thank God, because like if he would have showed up on Joe Rogan with a MAGA hat, I would have been like, you're fucking killing me, man. You're killing me. Like I don't agree with like that type of shit with like Trump,
Right.
and like I am not religious whatsoever. It's like, and the music you just put out as a gospel album, it's like, you're not giving me really anything to work with here.
Right.
I don't wear Yeezys, so like I don't know what to do.
Well, and it's a 3-hour podcast. The closest thing I can equivalent it to, it had the hype of McGregor Diaz 2 in the finish, where we both walked away going like, okay,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
shit happened.
yeah.
I don't know what to think of this.
Joe said it too. Like Rogan was like, when you ask Kanye a question, he has like 14 things that wants to come out of his mouth all at once, but he's like, you can see him like calculate everything, and then he like just says it in a way where it's almost like philosophical, and it's like, I don't even think that's an act. I think that's like how he just honestly is. Like he's just so calculated that like he speaks and carries himself that way.
My guess is what we saw on Rogan was what you said. 14 things come out of your mouth. But if you take strand 1 and attach it to strand 4 and attach it to strand 19, it makes a congruent thought.
Yeah.
And my guess is his whole career he had somebody taking the threads and tying them together to give him what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you give your team, your management, you're
right.
Like people like, you have to package it this way if we're going to make money and sell, and like, yeah, that's how we're going to do things. But it was interesting. I was nervous going into that as well, like the Joe Rogan Kanye episode. I was like, I watched it in parts. I watched it like in a few parts.
I was nervous for both of them.
Yeah.
Because I am and saying this in 2021 sucks, but I'm a Joe Rogan guy.
I enjoy Joe Rogan. My girlfriend also laughs at me, but I don't listen to Joe Rogan and hang on to his every word.
No.
I listen to Joe Rogan when he has like comics on that I like, or like actors or actresses. I'm like, yeah, I'll listen to this. Like when Elon Musk goes on Joe Rogan, like I don't have a Tesla, but I'm gonna fucking listen.
Yeah.
Or like when Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on, it's like, this is gonna get wild.
Well, and
like,
so much of it to me was him challenging, because I was lucky enough that I had a really good mentor in college that was like pushing on me.
Corey McLean.
He pushed on me in my drinking. Corey, this one's for you. Love you.
Love you, Corey.
Happy birthday, Connor, because I think that's when this will come out. No, I don't know. But like, actually, happy birthday, Sophia. Out of all of the 3 of the kids of the Sean and Corey clan, that's the one whose birthday it will be. They lined it up in months for me. It's Sophia, Connor, Eva. It's really nice of them. I could just go all 3 right in a row, and then Christmas. Anyway, so I'm a Joe Rogan guy because I was introduced to him by a mentor who pushed on my small town white guy, existence, and like was like, are you sure that you don't like this? Are you sure that you're like this? Not really understanding the difference between liberals and conservatives and all that kind of shit. And he's like, this isn't going to tell you yes or no, but it's going to give you both sides.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I appreciate that, like, I don't listen to Joe Rogan as, like, the new religion. Like, I listen to him because, like, I feel like he's swayed certain ways. And, like, I don't even look at Joe Rogan as, like, a Republican or, like, how people, like, make him out. It's, like, he, to me, feels like the most, like, unfortunately, I think those people are just look at him and it's like a judge a book by its cover kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, here's this jacked white guy who's, like, obviously a UFC commentator, used to be, like, a celebrity on TV, like, tattoos, muscles, like has people. It's like, yeah, he fits that demo, but like I think he does a very good job of like keeping it like 50-50. Like he lets people, and he admits he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. He's like, I literally just, this became popular since 10 years ago or whatever, so like I'm still doing it just with a bigger budget.
And literally I've never felt closer to Joe Rogan than I do right now when like
I feel Joe in this room right now. I feel Joe Rogan in this room.
But like it's a joke, but at the same point in time, like you know how he asked everybody, well, have you ever tried DMT?
Yeah,
right?
Yes,
like that's
yes,
the meme.
Yeah.
I always ask people, have you seen Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
It's such a feel. It's a feel good. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's a good way, I think, of like.
Right.
It's a good way to test the waters.
Yeah.
It's like, do you smoke weed? It's like, I think that's a good. It's a childish way to do it, but like, you smoke weed, and if someone says yes or no, I think that's a good way of like judging their character, like not for good or bad, but just in general.
My favorite thing I've ever asked, whether I was interviewing for a position or interviewing somebody for a position, was, "What's your favorite South Park character?"
Oh yeah. Stan Marsh is my favorite South Park character. And that's insane because he's the most grounded, level-headed. Like, all right, this is weird. But let's figure this shit out. Like,
yeah, but that immediately, because I've had people tell me I hate South Park. I've never seen South Park, and that immediately tells me something about them. Or if they pick like Kenny or Cartman, that tells me something about them. Whereas like if you say Butters, I'm just gonna fucking hug you.
Yeah, yes, yeah. If you say like Mr. Garrison or Randy Marsh or something, it's like I love that shit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dab you up if you say Butters. Like, all right, we're boys.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so that's where we are. It's 2019. Jesus is King. Kanye then disappears during quarantine.
Yeah.
He just kind of gone.
Yeah, I think that's where there was like some beef, I guess, with like people, because I think that's like around the time where like, was it like that Drake song? It's like Kiki, do you love me? And people were like, oh, so is Drake talking about Kim Kardashian? And I think where like a lot of social media got involved with Kanye. Like he took a break. He like got mad, started beef, and then just like kind of went like MIA for like a long time.
Got mad, got divorced.
Yeah.
Changed his entire life essentially.
Yeah. He changed his name. I think he just did recently. His name's Ye.
Oh my god.
During Donda, like the week of like the last performance in like August like 23rd or something, he legally changed his name. And it was funny because it's like you literally have a sold out show coming up, and we don't even know when the album's coming out, and you're in the process of changing your name. It's like, will you get some priorities in order, please? Like, I guess like just on that, Kanye means the only one, and that's why his mother was like, "You're special. You're one of one. You're the only one." But now Kanye, like with Jesus is King, he's very much like he set a reset button with himself. He like Jesus is like his downfall. Like I'm addicted to drugs and women and sex and music and all this shit. And like, but then like Pablo's where he's like, I'm coming out of this. I'm a family man now. I have a family. He literally came out with like the dad shoe and like started wearing sweatpants and like dad hats. Like he went fully into the character. And then like Jesus is King is when he was like reborn and felt good. And like Donda to me is like his emo album. Like this is like the dark album because like I don't know if I'm jumping into it too quickly, but people were like, it's about your mother. Like, why does it sound so dark? And like the album cover is like literally black and like everything is very dark to it, and it's like it doesn't feel like you would almost like Jesus is King almost sounds like that would be an album for your mom. And like, but speaking on behalf of a former emo kid, like I haven't had amazing. I do have overall an amazing relationship with like my parents, my mother, and stuff. But it's like growing up, there were like beefs and like issues, and like we would argue about dumb shit and stuff. So it's like I can attach negative thoughts to my mother of growing up. It's like it's a part of life, and I just think that like Donda is the dark. Like he's showing you like the armpit of it. It's like this is the dark side of coming out. Like the feel good stuff is here, but like you have to kind of go through the trenches with me on this one to like mentally get through it.
So I think if we're wrapping up where we are now with Kanye, and if I could
please
use the Lion King as a comparison. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So we have young Simba is graduation, college dropout, 808,
yes.
that whole 9 yards, right? He's like, I'm gonna be king, blah blah blah, right? Then all of a sudden, and it's kind of out of order.
Shit like hits the fan almost. Like
shit kind of hits the fan, but it hits the fan later, right?
Yeah.
So like it's almost like right as the stampede is happening during Yeezus and Life of Pablo.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And now where we are with Kanye is I've become a recluse. I'm living with Timon and Pumbaa, trying to like get to my Hakuna Matata, but I'm not quite there yet. And Nala hasn't come to get me. Like I'm like that's where I am.
Yeah. I'll take that reference. That's very good. Yeah.
So that's where we are, and that's where I think. Now let's talk about Donda. What is your initial reaction when you hear Donda?
I was fucking hyped. I was super stoked. I have this like Excel spreadsheet where it's like it's every Kanye song ever written ever, and it's Ryan Lizick gave it to me. You remember Ryan Lizick?
I love Ryan Lizick.
He gave me this link which I keep in my bookmarks. It's called the Yeezy sheet, and on Pablo when he's like, I had a cousin that stole my laptop that I was fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Supposedly this is like that Dropbox link. So I have like a spreadsheet where it shows like Kanye songs before he was even like Kanye West, and it's it's a really, really, really big spreadsheet of just like every Kanye thing ever. Like there's like 4 versions of Jesus is King. There's Jesus is King Part 2. There's albums called like Dragon Energy and Turbo Graphics and like a bunch of just unreleased music. There's an album like Good Ass Job with Chance the Rapper that like never came out. And My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, there's a few versions of that. Watch the Throne, Cruel Summer, Thank God for Drugs is a whole album that just isn't out. So and there's a Yeezus 2 as well. Like it's just like, so I've liked The Hunt for Donda. Like I've enjoyed The Hunt. So I've had the album for not the completed album, but I've had like pieces of the songs for probably about like 2 months.
Okay, because you've been posting them on your social. You've been like,
I've been flexing.
Hey,
I
have some
bragging.
I have some stuff.
Which people have DM'd me about like, how did you get this? And I've just like sent them the link because I'm not gonna be like, you can't get it. Like I've sent the link to them and just like I'm sharing it because like I want us all to win. I want us all to listen to it and enjoy it. So I've enjoyed The Hunt for Donda.
So that excites me.
Yeah.
Because that means that the lyric in Spaceship, lock yourself in a room doing 5 beats a day for 3 summers. That's a different world, like 3 summers. I deserve to do these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The kid that made that deserves the May back. So many records in my basement. I'm just waiting on my spaceship.
Blow.
I have obsessed over that line.
Yeah.
Since 2013, wondering what those sound like.
Yeah.
And that lets me know it exists.
It exists. Like there are like on Life of Pablo, there's like 3 versions of that Fuck My Life, like FML. There's a song with like it's Kanye and Post Malone and The Weeknd and Travis Scott. And that version I prefer more. So on my phone, because of like Apple Music and like it matching, it's all fucked up. Like if you go to Kanye West in my iPhone library, it is all fucked up with just albums of just like out of order because iTunes is trying to like match the song,
right?
But it's like not there.
Wait, I need to hear you need to send me a link because like Travis Scott, Post Malone on the same fucking thing.
Yeah, there's like Japanese only versions of like Can't Tell Me Nothing for whatever reason that were in like a Coca-Cola commercials and stuff. Like random
That's
shit.
awesome.
I've gone like down the. I have like Donda version 1. I have Donda's Boy, which is originally was supposed to be Donda, which was like in 2009. There's a song like Dragon Energy. This song's called Capri Sun with like Tyga. But there's like a bunch of just like random shit, like a bunch of random albums that just like don't exist.
Do you think? So we're kind of getting that with Mac Miller a little bit.
Yes. Like
where
they're what's it?
Posthumously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hank calls it post mostly. But like that like little door is like the door that the things they buried under the floorboards, their telltale heart is starting to come up out of the floorboards when they're dead.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to be Nicolas Cage and go find it?
I think so. I think that I'm being Nicolas Cage.
I think you
like
are.
Not to keep going.
You have
but
like an alternate Yeezus album cover, all sorts of goofy
it's
shit.
like Yandhi version 1 and then like Yandhi version 2 and it's a lot of it's unfinished. What's really interesting, what I like about all the craziness of it is like it's literally a game of like finding it.
Yeah.
And like there's songs that are unfinished. A lot of it's unfinished. Like it's not mixed, it's not mastered. Like it's Kanye literally being like, and every time I like him just humming because he doesn't even have the fucking words ready yet. But he's trying to just like place the sound effect of how it should sound. And it's like it's not something I listen to every single day, but it's like pieces of just like the hunt and the obsession of just like liking it. So to me, it's been like a little bit of a game, and it's funny because like my girlfriend could give a shit, doesn't care about any of it, and I'll always be like, I got Donda, and she's like, okay. And I'm like, the Kanye album. She's like, I know. I'm like, do you want to hear it? She's like, no. And like doesn't fuck. That's why I love it. I love her. She just doesn't give a fuck. And like, but I love it because she'll like let me just like explode in the kitchen. Where I was like, when I found the link for Donda, I was like, I got it. And I was like yelling, and I was like just really stoked. And I started sharing it with my friends, but I've enjoyed it. Like, so when I've heard it early, it was good. And I just like, it's almost like I'm a part of the creative process. Like obviously like in the backseat just listening. So it's like I hear the first version I got like 2 months ago. Then I hear like the version that he premieres live, and I'm like, oh, that's different.
Yep.
And like, but I'm also so specific with things. With like, if someone gets their hair cut, I'll notice. I'm like, oh, your hair looks different. They're like, oh, no. I'm like, I pick up on little things. Like if there's like a drum in like a different spot, like I like that. So I like going through the hunt and just like the like just following the breadcrumb trail of stuff because I'm just like it's a part of the growth. It's like, well, here's this version, I prefer this version, so like it just gives me options and like I don't know, it's fun. I like feeding into the madness.
And there is, I think we've all experienced that. I particularly Hosier, the Take Me to Church song and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anastasia somehow got onto him when there were just like 4 demo songs on, and it was like Garden of Eden, Jackie and Wilson, Take Me to Church, and another one.
Yep.
And there used to be this amazing flamenco guitar solo in the middle of Garden of Eden. And every time I listen to it, I'm like waiting for that, and then it never fucking comes. Or like another one of our favorite bands, Whitney, has like a bunch of live albums, demo versions, that kind of stuff. And it's all like kind of like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, they played this a little bit differently, but there's this one song, Golden Days, they put a stop in it live. And the stop just fucking rocks. And I wish it was in the actual version. But like but you have that with the biggest artists on the planet.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And it's like a cool like Dropbox. It's a cool like Excel spreadsheet. So it's like anytime, it's kind of like an all hands on deck. Like anytime, like if you find something that we can't like put it in the Dropbox link, and like we all just can like they just write it up like here's this, here's what happened, here's a sample. Like there's like hooks from like XXX Tentacion on like Yandhi verses. Like I have a version of Hurricane with like XXX on it. And it's just like it's cool to hear and see because I didn't know music worked that way.
Yeah.
It's like teaching me a lot. Like I didn't know that like if we were both huge artists, I could be like, Josh, I need a sample for this. And you'll just be like in California and I'll be in New York and like you just send me a Dropbox. I'm like, all right, cool. And I just like copy and paste your vocals in the song and like that's just how it's made. Like I thought that like we had to be in the same studio and like we had to fly to the same location. And we had to be in this like soundproof thing. Like I didn't know that it could just be like so on the fly and like some things chopped up so quickly. Like Certified Lover Boy had things about like Kanye for whatever reason like posted a picture of Drake's home address on his Instagram and like deleted it because it's like a crazy thing to do. Like just so insane.
It's borderline insane, yeah.
And then like on Certified Lover Boy that came out like a week and a half later, like there was a line on there saying about the fucking him posting his location. And it's like I like knowing that things can be that. It's almost like South Park, like 7 Days to Air. Like they're taking things that are happening like right now and like still just plugging it in. And I just think like being a part of that creative madness, like and just like hearing Donda from like a few months ago to like now, I enjoy it, and I think it's, like, really good. I truthfully think, like, even honestly going through this with you right now, like, I think that I can probably take The Life of Pablo out of my top 3 favorite, and I think that I can confidently sit here and say that, like, Yeezus is my favorite. I'll listen to it front to back. 808 I would probably categorize it as, I'd probably say Yeezus, Donda, 808, and Heartbreak are my favorite Kanye albums of all time.
And I think I texted you this as I was like listening to preparing for this.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know that I love the whole album, but there's parts of it, and you've iterated this the entire time, is that there's parts of songs that you're like, wait, that's different. Let me eat this for a second. That's like, let me wind this back. There's very few albums where you mid-song press pause and push the little dial back to get to a part to hear it again. And that's really what it is. Let's just talk about, because we're already kind of down that path. So, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that have 2 parts to them, or a second version of them. Jail, OK OK, Junya, I think I'm saying that right, and Jesus Lord. Which, all right, 1 or 2 for both of them?
I prefer the song OK OK or
OK OK.
OK OK. I like the first version because I like Lil Yachty's verse on it. But the second version has this like cool like Hispanic like I don't know who the artist is. I feel bad, but like her verse is really good.
Look at Brian's table. There's no notes. Like I just want to point that out.
It's
like,
off the dome. Like there's a female like on like it's this really cool like Hispanic sound like on like the second version, which is really cool. And I wish that like her vocals were on the first version. But if I had to pick, I like OK OK, the first version with Lil Yachty. And
how about Junya?
Junya might be On Sight. On Sight is my favorite Kanye song of all time, but Junya is probably my also first or second favorite Kanye song of all time. and I prefer the second version more. The second version has Playboy Cardi, and it has the Ty Dolla $ign feature.
Yeah.
This version I like more because Ty Dolla $ign's cool. Like, this song is like ignorant. It just has like church piano and just like some ignorant ass 808 hitting that's like crunch. It sounds like my friend's like old like Taurus, like his sound system in the back where it was just banging and it sounded bad, but it's like sick at the same time. Like low budget but cool. I think Junior Part 2 I like more because the song is longer. Ty Dolla $ign does a cool like singing verse on it, which I think stands out and it does really well. And Junior, I looked up what Junya meant because I had no idea.
Oh.
And Junya is a Japanese fashion designer. It's Junya Watanabe is the full name.
Wow.
So that's why it says Junya Watanabe on my it's basically saying like I have Junya Watanabe on my wrist, like as a watch or something.
Okay.
So that's what it means. That's what it means,
wow.
like from what I understand. But it's Junya is the first name of this Japanese.
That's crazy.
I don't know if you know like Como de Grace.
No.
It's another like it's like an understudy of him or something like that, but it's like a designer. But that's what that means. I think Junya is it is my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
I think it's the sickest.
How about Jesus Lord 1 or 2?
The second one's like way longer, so I prefer the first one.
Okay.
I think it's a good Larry Hoover, like the voicemail thing at the end is like very passionate. And I think that's really cool too. Like I'll listen to the songs on Donda that have like a really good beat, but like the vocals are just like spoken word, like it's literally like a voicemail is like the outro to one of the songs, and it's like to me it sounds really good and it's like meaningful and I like even though no one's singing, it's like the whole thing just sounds really good to me. The first version.
And then let's do Jail because for me, as much as I love hearing like just the idea that like Kanye and Jay-Z are on a track together, you're like, fuck yeah,
like
here we go.
Okay. It makes you feel like everything's all right now.
Yeah, somebody
like,
gave me a hug.
Fine. Yeah, we're all good now.
But that Baby verse.
The Baby did a fantastic verse. And also, did you know that Marilyn Manson is like when it's like, guess who's going to jail tonight? Marilyn Manson is also like on the vocals of that in the background. And I believe he also did like guitar and like something else on the second version. I've always liked Marilyn Manson.
If you grew up when we did, he was the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah, he was like the Rob Zombie, like fucking Marilyn Manson. They were just like head first. We are the Dark Lord. Like it was a cool image, and like throughout this entire podcast, like I think I've like the imagery and like the marketing and like the whole pitch to me is the big thing. It's like I like something way more when I go into it like not when I expect I'm not gonna like something, but I end up fucking loving it. I will fucking love it.
Yeah.
And like I've always enjoyed Marilyn Manson for being like, all the way that way, and with all the recent stuff that's kind of come out with him, like I think it's like shitty, obviously, and like domestic abuse, if that's what it was and stuff, is like obviously like fucked up, and like you literally point blank can't do that. It's like the cardinal rule: you don't do that to other human beings.
Right.
Like, it's fucked up, like point blank. But supposedly, because it was controversial when like Jay-Z was there, like everyone's favorite. Like you might as well have Justin fucking Timberlake on there. Everyone's gonna be like, God damn, Justin Timberlake. But like having DaBaby on there and Marilyn Manson is kind of like it was supposed to be symbolic because like Kanye's been like canceled before canceling was even a thing, and he's come back and like still doing his thing, and people love him, people hate him, and him having Marilyn Manson and DaBaby there like so soon after them both kind of being like in the crosshairs of like the media and the world and like their behaviors like being an issue. It's there to be like the whole thing with Donda is like he lit himself on fire at the very end of it. Like he basically washed himself, and then like Kim came out and like he took his mask off and became Kanye for the first time in like a year, supposedly, for like the imagery of it. And DaBaby, I guess, like so basically Kanye brought them along for the ride. Kanye brought them there because like Marilyn Manson and DaBaby both like Kanye like paid his dues now, like I guess, like or he went through, he got made fun of, he kept making music and like kept doing his thing, but like he came out the other side and now he's trying to just be successful, and like now with DaBaby and Marilyn Manson, he's like, now is your turns. Like now you guys need to go through the fucking ringer, like hit your lowest low to come out and get your highest high, like learn from your mistakes. And
that's what the verse is about from DaBaby. He's not apologizing straight up. He's just saying this is why I am the way I am.
Yeah. And I think that hits home. I think that Jail, if you mix 1 and 2, I think it would have been an amazing song too. Like if people were able to like if you can just listen to it for what it is, I think it sounds fantastic. But obviously given like media and like what they did, like it's shitty and it changes it. But I think it's cool that Kanye even did that, like to put himself on on the line like that because it's like.
Well, and Sony trying not to release it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want Da Baby anywhere near this album.
No, because with optics and with music and marketing and like money, it's like with this guy that just like is getting dropped from like tours and like shows. It's like, what, do you want to put him on like this newest like anticipated
he got dropped
album?
from
it's
Lollapalooza.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a pretty big fucking deal.
He got dropped, I think, from almost like 10 festivals. Like all just dropped him, and it's like odd, like him being like one of the main acts, and then to be just dropped. It's like it's probably a wake up call. But then like in the verse on Jail, he's like, "You're taking this away from me. You're taking food off the table for like my family.
Yeah,
like you're fucking with me and my money." And he's like, "This is why I am the way that I am." He's like not apologizing for it, but he's like, "I'll learn from this." So I think that like that's why that supposedly is why Kanye had like Manson and DaBaby there. But I think that the first verse with Jay-Z is it's fucking Jay-Z and Kanye West. Like it's like fucking peanut butter and jelly. It's like garlic bread and spaghetti. Like it just fucking it's good.
Now that we've talked about it, I almost feel like Donda is all of Nala shows up, gets Simba out of the Hakuna Matata phase, brings him. He has the fight with Scar, and then like Jail 2 is almost him walking through the rain to Roar to take back the Pride Lands.
I think that Donda has a very good way of encompassing like My Dark Twisted Fantasy, The Life of Pablo, Jesus.
Yeah.
And it just being its own like thing. I think it's like a messy, perfect.
There's even parts of verses where you're like, oh, that's College Dropout. Like you hear it, you feel it.
Yeah, there's like two songs that like are almost they sound like they could have been on Graduation. Like, there's songs that sound like they could have been on The Life of Pablo and stuff. And I just think it's all overall. To me, it sounds like Kanye now, and it sounds like almost Kanye like greatest hits. And this is his 10th album, so people think that this might be his like last one because now he's finally done with everything, and he wants to like solely focus on fashion going further because now he has like the deal with like the Gap.
Yep.
And like he's gonna be releasing like clothes and stuff there. So
wouldn't it be sweet if he walked away though?
Yeah. I think it'd be dope if he walked away. Like even, I don't know, because his music exists. Like I think the majority of the Beatles are dead, right? But like
2 out of 4.
But they're still the
fucking
Beatles.
Yeah.
Like people are gonna listen to music. The Grateful Dead, still the Grateful Dead. Like you have music to like go on, and I think it'll be fine. But yeah, overall, I think Donda's amazing, and I don't know who knows this or not, but the Donda chant, we talked about it. The pattern in the very opening track, the Donda, 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 that is the rhythm of his mother's heartbeat right before she died. So that's like her final, like the thing that goes beep, beep, beep. Like, it's not her voice. She's not saying Donda. That's somebody else. But the Donda, 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 that's his mother's final heartbeats before she passed away. And I think that's like bone-chillingly cool and like eerie and weird, and I think that just explains exactly what Kanye West is after. It's like he wants to like get your attention, but be himself and be controversial and be a little weird, but like there's a meaning to all of it. And like that to me was like the craziest like nugget of like fun fact info that like the not sonogram, but whatever the machine is called that like when you're on like your life and it's like your heartbeat, like that's the like he was crazy enough to like take that.
Or even to remember or record it or whatever he did to know. I'll never skip that track again now. I'll never skip it again.
I listened to the Donda. When I put on Donda, I literally play that song first because it makes me think about like how just fucking crazy that is.
Yeah.
To start an album that way, dedicated to your mother, like with her heartbeats, but it's like, and then like in the live show, there was like a screen, like it just, every time it said Donda, it like flashed a photo of him and his mom, and then it is an album, like, I think it just sounds good, and it sounds all over the place, and it's, it reminds me of, like, a mixed CD, like, you would make, and it's, like, there's all kinds of songs I like, tell me in middle school you didn't put, a Stained song slap up against, like, a Fergie song or something.
Yeah.
It's, like, I did that.
Right.
Like, I don't get it's a mixed thing. It's whatever you want. So, I like that, and, yeah, I'm fucking here for it, and I think the album is fantastic, and I don't want to compare it to Certified Lover Boy, but I think it, like, Drake is Drake. He makes perfect music. He makes listenable music. If I had people coming over my house, I would probably put Certified Lover Boy on in the background because that's the most like relatable thing to people. But to me, like from just being a fan and listening to it, like personally, I think Certified Lover Boy sounds just like a reheated Drake. Like it just sounds like Scorpion, like reheated, or like if you're reading it, it sounds like just reheated food. It's like this is what I expect. But in the same breath, it's like it is good, and I do enjoy it. It's like going to your favorite restaurant, ordering your favorite meal, eating it, being satisfied, and just fucking going home and not remembering it. That's what it feels like to me. Going and listening to Donda feels like you're going and like you're going to a show and you don't know what to expect, and it could be fucking anything, and you either like love it or hate it, and there's no like in the middle. I think overall as a body of work, like Donda is significantly better. Like it's like a masterpiece. Like if you were to compare Certified Lover Boy and Donda in a museum, Donda is like all over the place, like messy art where you're like, I could fucking do this. How's this art? Like this is crazy. You have to like actually think about it, and it's like, well, this means this. Drake, I think, just looks like a really good photograph. It's like, damn, that's fucking good, and like my dad can even agree that like that's a great photo. Like where this takes time, and like I'm just one of those people that I'm willing to like sit there and like listen to it and like make my own. But I won't do. There's no other band or like artist I'll do that with. I don't know why. It's Kanye, but at the same time, it's like he did this interview a long time ago, and it's my favorite thing he's ever said. Where it's like, if you're a fan of Kanye West, you're not a fan of Kanye. You're a fan of yourself. He's like, because all my music is it's like what you need to get over that obstacle. It's like he says like I'm that espresso to give you that shot so you can do whatever you can get over the thing. You can like accomplish what you got to do. He's like, being a Kanye fan is like that means you believe in yourself, and I think that's so powerful and cool that like that's I think like one of my favorite things he's ever like said. I butchered it, but like you can find it on YouTube. Like it's just like it's like a 80-second clip or like 18-second thing. But it's good.
And I think at the end of the day, I love what you said to start this episode was I want to listen to the music that is the soundtrack to my life, not somebody's music about their life.
Yeah.
And if Donda does that for you, and that's what good music should do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Make you feel something, get you hyped up. Like,
right.
Rarely will a sad song. I never thought that I'd be 30 years old running and exercising to like a song, like a spoken word. Like, 'cause when it's like the church, like or like orchestra and all this, like it almost like you can't. Like I almost push back on religion because I just like don't like to me I'm like it's not my thing. But like hearing that, I'm like I can take it in this way, like because I'm not like tapping in like I believe in this, but it's like this undeniably just sounds really good.
Yeah.
So I just I enjoy it.
Awesome.
It's the fucking best.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel like I got it all out.
This has been a great depression. Donda in your brain.
Yeah. Everyone go listen to Donda right now. And fucking download it. Just keep listening to it. It's sick. And listen to Junya because it's like not doing well, but it's a good ass party song.
Okay. Thanks, Brian.
Later.
will.